In the heart of a blazing, unforgiving desert, where the golden sand stretched out like an endless ocean, lay a tiny date seed. But this seed had a major problem. It wasn't just buried under the scorching sand. It was pinned down by a massive, heavy stone. Inside that small shell was a fierce spark of life. It wanted to break free. It wanted to feel the breeze and soak in the warm sunlight. So, it gathered every ounce of its strength and pushed upward. Nothing happened. The stone didn't flinch. The seed rested, gathered its energy, and pushed again. Still, zero movement. Exhausted and defeated, the little seed felt a wave of despair. "This is it," it thought. "My fate is sealed. I am trapped under this rock forever, and I will never see the sky." But the desert is never truly empty. Burrowing through the cool sand beneath the surface was an old, weathered desert tortoise. His shell was scratched from years of surviving the harsh elements, and he moved with the slow, deliberate confidence of someone who had seen it all. The tortoise paused near the weeping seed, letting out a dry, raspy chuckle. "Wasting a lot of energy fighting a rock, aren't you?" the tortoise murmured. The seed replied bitterly, "I have to. It's blocking my path to the surface." The tortoise slowly blinked his heavy, ancient eyes. "If the roof is locked, stop banging your head against it and check the basement. Don't complain about the block. Look downward." And with that, the tortoise slowly tunneled away into the darkness. Look downward. The seed pondered this. If the path above was closed, maybe the answer wasn't to fight the obstacle, but to change direction. Instead of wasting its energy pushing against the immovable stone, the seed started growing downward. It sent its roots deep into the harsh, dry soil. It was a grueling, miserable process. The packed dirt was hard, and the dry sand offered little comfort. There were days the seed wanted to quit, wondering if this invisible downward grind was completely pointless. But every time doubt crept in, it remembered the old tortoise's advice: look downward. Months turned into years. From the surface, the desert looked exactly the same. Anyone walking by would only see a lifeless stone baking in the sun. Nobody knew that beneath that rock, a masterpiece of resilience was being forged in the dark. Then, it happened. After years of relentless downward pushing, the roots finally broke through a dense layer of earth and tapped into a hidden, deep underground aquifer. The moment the roots hit the water, an explosion of energy awakened within the seed. It no longer just had hope, it had undeniable, unstoppable power. Fueled by the deep water, the seed surged upward once more. Its roots were now a massive, anchored network. It didn't try to move the stone this time. Instead, with patient determination, it found a tiny, almost invisible gap at the edge of the rock and squeezed through. When it finally broke the surface, it wasn't a fragile, weak sprout. It was thick, fortified, and armed with the strength of years of silent struggle. Decades passed, and that little seed grew into a towering, majestic date palm tree. Its leaves danced in the sky, casting a wide shadow over the sand. Then, a devastating sandstorm swept across the desert. It was a chaotic wall of wind and dust that violently ripped the shallow-rooted plants and brush straight out of the earth, tossing them away like useless scraps of paper. It was a storm meant to destroy everything in its path. But the date palm tree stood tall. The violent winds whipped its branches and bent its trunk, but it refused to break. Why? Because its roots were anchored deep in the earth. So deep that no storm on the surface could ever rip it out. And who forced that tree to build such an unbreakable foundation? The stone. The exact same heavy stone the seed once cursed as its biggest problem. In life, We constantly complain about our obstacles, our failures, and the heavy stones blocking our paths. We look at our setbacks and think they are curses designed to hold us back. But the brutal, beautiful truth is that those very difficulties are life's way of forcing you to build your roots. When the easy path is blocked, you are being pushed to grow deeper into patience, discipline, and absolute resilience. The people who don't quit during the dark, invisible years, the ones who focus on strengthening their inner foundation when nobody is watching, become unshakable. When they finally break through to the surface, they are so grounded that no economic storm, no personal crisis, and no failure can ever bring them down. So, the next time you find yourself crushed beneath a heavy stone, stop cursing it. That stone might just be the exact reason you become strong enough to survive every storm that comes your way. Like, subscribe, share,